fast, fatal heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and past. I back up my actions back, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked. Attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off, with this series, we had Deku and his clan. After a 9-month space journey to Yautja Prime, Deku talked to some of the elders who ran the planet. Not only were they intrigued by Deku's proposition of making the xenomorph deadlier in exchange for information on the engineers, Deku saw a bit of an opportunity. And the Yautja, they wanted to know more about this, more about a quirk. So, Deku, after implanting himself with a xenomorph embryo, he had it removed, and it is currently being tested by the Yautja. Now, thanks to this simple idea, and because of a lot of other things mixed into this, you'd also at least have David. He was able to witness this process, and he also did discover Deku and Aki's relationship. David, he didn't really care about the second thing, but the xenomorph he was more intrigued by. He wants to know more about that species and study them, catalog them, understand how they tick. Now, with that being said, we do currently pick up with Deku right now. Deku and his crew, they've been antsy, and they themselves have all been stuck in this ship for a long time, and they'd rather get off of the ship. And the Yautja, they were concerned about the xenomorph. After studying it a little bit more and discovering that it is actually a different, or it does show mental differences than regular xenomorph, they wanted to test the humans. The Elder, since Deku gave them this strange specimen, he's allowing the Terrans to hunt on Yautja Prime. And Deku, after he heard about this, he told his fellow companions, and they're all currently getting ready in the docking bay. As we do cut to the hangar of the ship, Deku, he is telling people about what's going on. He's informing everybody. They're all in 10-man squads, and they all need to be careful, and remember, if they do break off into a separate squad, or even into duos or pairs, they need to let somebody know. Since if any of them they do die, most likely their bodies will not be recoverable, since they might be eaten by the native wildlife. And many people, they are at least all looking around and paying attention to each other. And Deku can tell by the way some of his hunters, they're either checking their gear, or at least going over it, that they are trying to be careful. And we do actually have Deku, who he does go to start putting on some of his own gear, and he does go to put on something he doesn't have. He puts on a new wrist gauntlet he does have before he does go to turn it over and go to check something. Deku looking at it a bit more before he's going to press a button. As whenever Deku does go to press this button, you do actually have where a mini rocket does pop up out of it, and Deku does see it. Him going to actually aim this thing down his forearm and look at it. As it does go to press a button, and then it does go back down into the gauntlet. And Deku, he does actually go to press a button again as his wrist blades, they do open. And this is something that Deku, he is paying attention to. He's gotten a few upgrades thanks to a lot of stuff they're able to get from Yautja Prime. Along with that, there is actually his gear. Much of the stuff they do have back at the homeworld, it isn't very much to go off of. Hell, it's basic tools. However, here Deku can actually trade and get certain things they don't have. Certain tech and weapons. And Deku, he does actually kind of enjoy that. Since he does actually notice that a few of his hunters, they are somewhat testing out newer weapons. And Deku, he is happy. As we do have where he does go to walk over to a bike, hop onto it, and then go to scan something he has attached to his wrist onto it. As the bike does go to turn on and start to hover. And Deku, he does go to blast out of his hangar, as his bike does go flying off, and we do actually have a key. A key herself, she does go to leave as well, as many of the humans, they do go to depart the ship and leave. Meanwhile, we do actually have the Yautja. The elite predators, they are currently monitoring the Terrans and seeing exactly what they can do. And with the fact that as many humans just flew off of that ship as there was, it is interesting to them. And the Yautja, they do have to start splitting up to keep an eye on this. And we do currently have Deku. He's flying around Yautja Prime and seeing exactly what he can find. There are many creatures here. And as Deku, he is currently looking over some archives, he's trying to find out which one could be the most dangerous. And he does find one that actually is something he has heard about. Like he's mentioned it before. This thing is one she has faced, and it's one he is curious about. Now, Deku, he does fly to the location where these beasts should be. And whenever he does arrive there, he is hovering in the air as he's going to set his bike to hover mode. And whenever he does go to do that, he does go to look over some of his weapons. Deku clicking his blades open and seeing that he does have those, closing them, and then going over the rest of his gear. He has his shurikens, he has his blade, he has his plasma caster. He also does have his spear and his smart disc. And Deku, he is ready. As whenever the beast below him does start to stir awake, Deku, he does go to aim down his wrist gauntlet and then go to press that button. As whenever his mask does give him a targeting system, he does look directly where he does want to hit, as the missile out of his wrist gauntlet is fire downwards and down towards the beast. And we do actually have the predator who was watching. It expected Deku to aim for a weak spot. However, Deku, he went directly for the center mass of this large creature's back. Now, Deku, he does leap from his bike after firing the missile, and the creature, it actually is completely awake now, as it's looking around, trying to discover what may have attacked it. And before it can completely understand where its opponent might be, Deku comes smashing onto this creature's back and stabbing downwards with his spear, with as much force as he can, trying to drive it as deep as he can into the creature and kill it. However, Deku, that didn't work too well, as the creature, it immediately tries to scurry off in a direction, and Deku has to hold onto his spear for dear life. As this beast, it uses its long serpent-like tail to try and scurry away, along with its multiple 6-armed limbs. Now, Deku, he's holding on as the creature does start to slither into a swamp. And Deku, he does watch as it does start to knock against and hit many trees. And whenever this does actually happen, Deku, he does go to take out one of his smart disc, as he does go to aim it and target it for the limb. Deku going to pull out the blades as he does go to let it go and fly. The creature, as one of its many forwards legs were moving downwards and smashing into the ground to move, you actually have where the joint of it was slashed. And the creature, the moment it does try to move again, putting more weight, it actually has somewhat fall down towards the ground. And Deku, he does take this moment. Whenever he does go to pull out one of his swords, and then go to lunge forwards and attack towards the back of its neck. The moment Deku actually does reach out and stab it down there, and go to scurry or bury the blade in deeper, you do have the creature who actually has to jump upwards and swing, it throwing its body and momentum around, trying to knock Deku away. And Deku, he's sent flying off of it, as he does go smashing through the air and hitting a tree. Whenever Deku does land and does go to stand up, the creature actually does look towards Deku and see him. As Deku, he does just go to bring up his hands and get ready, as he does go to pull out his other smart disc, and then in his other hand, he does go to reach for a shuriken. Deku going to basically bring out the blades of both the weapons, as the current thing facing him down is this large creature. Now, that is a Yautja for comparison, and keep in mind the Yautja are 7 to 8 feet tall. Mostly. now. With that being said, Deku, he does go to face off against the beast. And that is something that the Yautja, it's ready for. The human's about to be killed. So it does seem like his clan may not be ready. Isn't that quite a bit of a shame? As the Yautja is saying that, Deku, he actually has to go to throw the shuriken and then go to throw the smart disc. The smart disc, it does go flying downwards towards the ground and down towards where the swamp water is. Well, the shuriken does go flying through the air and aim directly for the creature's face. Deku will be able to stab the creature right downwards, part of its lower jaw, as a scream force and charge at him. As the moment it does so, it does go and attack. As it does start to move forwards, the smart disc, it does come shooting out of the water and slashing upwards across the creature's body. As it does attack the torso, the thing going reeling backwards for a second as Deku does leap forwards with both of his wrist gauntlets. And the moment Deku does so, he does go to punch outwards as much force as he can into the creature's face. Deku being able to slash into it and cut it. As whenever Deku does go to bring his other hand, he does go aiming for the throat. Deku slicing across the creature's throat as he doesn't cut deep enough to get through the armor. And whenever Deku, he does go to leap backwards against a tree and then go to try and leap outwards for another attack, the large beast's limbs actually just come smashing that tree and Deku, he does get off of balance. Him trying to leap to another one as the creature, it does relentlessly charge towards him. And Deku, whenever he does go jumping to another tree, it does attack. This time, Deku, the moment before he does land, the tree gets unbalanced. The moment Deku does touch it, he does go to try and leap unsteadily towards another one. However, whenever Deku does leap through the air, this thing actually is able to bring up one of his massive arms and hit Deku back down towards the ground. As Deku, he's sent flying directly down and into the swamp water with a lot of force. And the moment that actually does happen, Deku, whenever he's underwater, he does start to look down. The swamp is pretty deep. Him swimming down to seeing if he can try and avoid the creature. As Deku, he does go to bring up his hand and click a few things on his gauntlets. As we do currently have the two smart discs, Deku does have flying around. They do go from moving around the creature and trying to cut into the torso and limbs like Deku programmed them, to going for the other side. As both of the smart discs, they do go flying downwards towards the other end of the creature and attack towards its tail. And the creature, whenever it does get attacked that way, it does try to focus on these things. As Deku, when he does come swimming out of the swamp, he does go looking around. And Deku, he does start to climb up a tree and get ready. As the creature is trying to focus on the two smart discs, we do currently have Deku, who he recalls the bike and he does hop onto it. Him flying towards the creature as he does go to bring up something in his hand. Him going to get ready with another rocket as he does go to fire. Deku firing the rocket at the creature as he does come flying in and jumping off of the bike. The bike and the rocket both smashing into this creature as they do both explode. And the creature does go tumbling backwards towards the ground, as whenever it does smash into it, Deku's spear, it actually starts to pierce through the entire creature. It's screaming out in pain as Deku, he does come flying down towards the ground and stabbing into the area where his spear is. Deku ripping the spear outwards before quickly climbing upwards to the creature's face. And Deku, he does go to directly stab downwards into its head before he does just go to stab down with his wrist gauntlets. Him blinding the creature and just continuing his relentless assaults. As you do actually have with the creature, whenever Deku, he is attacking its face, the creature does go to try and lunge outwards with its jaws. As the moment it does, it actually is able to bite Deku across his forearm and along his entire upper part of his arm, or his upper bicep. And the creature does hold onto Deku's arm, biting into it very, very hard. As whenever Deku, he actually is trying to hold on and not scream out in pain, he does use his wrist gauntlets to slice off part of the lower jaw. And the moment all that force is let go of Deku, he does go to bring his arm backwards and inspect it. And that's when the Deku, he does look and see all the blood. As whenever he does go to try and bring his arm up and open his hand and close it, you do have for Deku, he does deliver the final blow with his hand. him striking downwards with the blades and killing the beast, as it does finally stop moving. And the moment the beast does stop moving, Deku, he does just go to slump down onto the beast and just go to look at his arm. Deku, whenever he does stare at it for a minute, he does know that it's not too good, and that right now, this arm can't be used for more combat. As Deku, he does go to, with his left hand, bring it up to his mask and press a button, asking if anyone can come pick him up. What happened to your bike? I blew it up. Why? Oh, you'll see when you get here. Okay, coordinates. Deku going to at least say a location, talking about how if they follow the flames in the swamp over in this area, they'll find him. However, while they're on their way, he's going to go ahead and take a trophy. And the Yautja, it actually is very surprised. Deku, he actually fought this thing and won. That's insane. The Yautja, he's actually very curious now. Him watching Deku take a trophy from the creature. As whenever another human they do arrive, they themselves are actually soaked in the blood of another creature. And they're able to tell from what the human does have with them, they took their own trophy. And whenever Deku did go to stand back up, the human who did come for him, they were very surprised. Since when they saw Deku, they see his right arm, and they see that there are clearly large teeth marks inside of it, asking Deku if he's alright. And Deku, he does just go to bring up his hand and go to move it. As the moment he does, they do watch as clumps of the muscle, they do move in a way that they really shouldn't be, away from Deku's arm. And he talks about how this thing almost took a pound of flesh out of him. Before, he does just go to bring something up over his shoulder and talk about how he's ready to go now. Is that the head? Yup. So where's the corpse? It's over there in the swamp. We'll come back for it with a larger ship. Alright. So we just gotta mark it, right? Yep. Now, Deku does hop on the bike. As the human, they do go flying away with it, and the Yautja, it actually is somewhat intrigued. It does go to report this finding back to the elders. Meanwhile, we do currently have the elders, who, they're all discussing exactly how they should approach, regards with the humans. And the Yautja, whenever it was radioed into and told about this, it was actually kind of intrigued. It's hearing about how a single human took down an alien creature, and it just so happens to be the one Yautjas use for ritualistic combat. And the Yautja does look over the battle, and see that this human really is not like any other they faced. And that's something that they are proud of. They actually can approach these humans like noble warriors. They don't need to approach them like they're foreign to the concept Yautjas do hold. Now, with that being said, whenever Deku does get back to the ship, and he is treated for his injury, he is able to get his arm wrapped up, and this new head put in his trophy room, along with even the corpse of the monster being brought back to the ship, and the humans, they do continue hunting. Even Deku does go back out and face off against many other creatures. And we do currently at least have a key. She's going around Yautja Prime and seeing exactly what she may have been missing from her homeworlds. And it actually is very intriguing to her. Now, Aki's interacting with many different things that aren't usually a part of the warrior culture. While about, if I remember correctly, 55% of the Yautja go for the warrior route, you do at least have the remaining percentage, the other half of that equation. These are people who, they are not warriors, they are not fighters. While they do still hold the honor code in mind in some way, they don't really follow it because they don't fight. They're the ones who handle everything else. And that's something that Aki, she does find to be intriguing. Especially since whenever going around, she does look at a few other things of her culture. And when we just come back to the ship later, we do currently at least have the humans, who they're all sitting around in the mess hall and talking about what they've been doing today. A few people talking about the beasts they've hunted, and others they're even at least trying to boast about what they've killed. And whenever things do go around to Deku, he does go to at least hold up something in his hand. As Deku, he's holding a cup of fiery brew. Now, this is a Yautja alcohol. And Deku, he does talk about how today he killed the largest beast on Yautja Prime. And he actually did it single-handedly. The thing almost took a pound of flesh from his arm. And if it would have ripped any further, he would have actually gotten a lot worse in the medical bay. So for right now, they're all celebrating the hunts of the humans. And they are going to make sure the Yautja can look at them without seeing disdain. Now, many different people do start to cheer. And even Aki, when she does see this, she actually is a bit more proud. The humans have come a long way. And it has been getting better. Now, we do have Richia's going to join the humans and drink. As a lot of people, their initial reaction to fiery brew, it's interesting. And Deku himself, he's never tried this stuff, but damn. It does put a human alcohol to shame. Now, with that, we do at least have over with the Yautja, where they are ready to approach the humans. As whenever Deku, he does get a notification on his visor that there is a, communications request coming in, he does walk away from the mess hall and go to the communications room. As whenever he does get to pull it up on screen, you do have the Yautja elder who is standing there. And Deku, the moment the man is on screen, he does go to back up and then go to bend down. However, the Yautja, it does inform him to stop. I do not need you to do that. I called you. I wish to know. Is it true earlier today you killed a beast? Large. Six-limbed? Yes. I have its head in my trophy room. Interesting. So, we are willing to make this deal with you, human. We want to make the xenomorph deadlier. The one that you've provided us with. Initially, it escaped. It showed prowess with our weapons. And it actually did kill a few Yautja who were blooded. So, it wasn't to be messed around with. We captured it and put it back into a storage room. We cryogenically froze it for right now. And we want to know more about these powers you humans do possess. Perfect. The powers we do all possess are random. They vary. Sometimes the powers, if they're taken from us or passed on to our young, they could change. Explain. If two people with a power mate and have a spawn, that power could be similar to one of the parents, a mix of both, or entirely different. That is what makes the human genetic so unique for the xenomorph. The xenomorph will take genetic code and weaponize it, and turn it against the host to its own infection. That is what creates, in my understanding, a xenomorph. So, if the xenomorph take these genetic codes, they could do practically anything with them. As far as I'm aware, infinite possibilities. Intriguing. So you're saying not even we would know what we are up against? Exactly. And if you are up against something that you don't understand, I'm assuming you would enjoy fighting that. Especially because you're getting a new twist on an old opponent. Intriguing. The data will be sent over to you, human. This is all we can give you. You will not be given access to the ship. However, you will now have the opportunity to track down your prey. As long as we get what we want. You do understand this, do you? Do you? Yes, I do. My people will supply blood. You can use your facilities to manufacture your xenomorph. If you study the blood, you can understand more about my species, as well as even start creating your own. Really? Yes, as far as I'm aware, you can take blood from anything. Mix and match, if you will. And create your own prey to kill. Find something you like and use it. Keep to it, maybe. The choice is all yours, sir. Send it over. Now, the Yautja does end the phone call. And Deku, after, well, the Yautja does hang up, he does get a turn and someone just start pumping his arms. Yes! It worked, it worked, it worked! Now, as Deku, he's doing that, you do actually hear someone they do start laughing. Deku turning his head, as you do actually have a key. A key, she does talk about how she never really expected him to get that excited. Huh? A key. This is good. We can track down these things now. The engineers. We have a lead. Deku walking over to her. As she is going to bring her hand up and onto his arm. Deku slightly wincing in pain as she does talk about how he took on a large amount of damage, did he? I did, yeah. But I'll be fine. That thing was actually pretty bad. To think you could kill it. I'm surprised. I got kind of worried. Aki, I'll be fine. The arm just needs time to heal, that's all. Okay. So, is that all? Yeah. Yeah, we can leave the planet now. Okay. Well, that's good. But there was gonna be a festival soon. A festival? A celebration, if you will. I don't exactly know what it was for, but it's a ceremony. Do you think we could stay? Yeah, yeah, sure. But do you know what it's for? I'm asking around. My clan, we don't necessarily celebrate these holidays, but apparently it's something huge here for Yautja Prime. Okay, yeah. No worries. When's the festival? It will be in a few days. Okay, yeah, we can stay. I know everyone else is there antsy to hunt stuff, so it'll work fine. If we just hunt for one day and blast right back off into space, everyone might get pissed off at me anyway. Thank you, Scar. I'm not so nervous about being here now. Really? That's good. Her actually going to wrap her arms around Deku, as she does go to give him a kiss, talking about how things, they don't feel so complicated now. It's alright, Aki. But can you not squeeze my back so hard? I kinda got smashed into a tree earlier. Sorry. Thank you, though. Yeah, it's cool. Now, Deku, he does hear a ping, as he does walk back over and sit down in the communications chair. As whenever he does go to start clicking a button on the chair as data does pop up. And Deku, he does start to read over some of it. As Akish does walk over and sit down on Deku's lap and talk about how some of the stuff she is seeing is kind of strange. As she's going to lean backwards and going to bring up one of her legs. Talking about how the data, it does look like something she's seen before, but there's more to it. Now, Deku does start to scroll through, as he does look at this information and go to click on something that he does see. As this is something that Deku, he does focus on, and it is their current tickets. It might be faint, but it's a way to track the emissions from a engineer's ship. It's a way to track down their path and where they may have flown. The Yautja, they just gave Deku his tickets. And right now, Deku, he has a few thoughts going through his mind. Head back to Earth and track down whoever killed them. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.